Today we are reviewing Invincible Season 4. After the sensational third season, does Invincible keep up the momentum or is it running out of steam? Let's find out on the Late Night Movie Podcast. Welcome back to the Late Night Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Welchy, and joining me tonight, as always, are my co-hosts, Mr. Pop Figures himself, Andy.
I hope that pops up across the screen as you do it. Yeah, excited to be here. The two episodes this week I'm buzzing for, so excited to get into it.
Yes, it is very much review season, and here to help us out on the review season as well is our other co-host, Mr. 10 out of 10, Stephen.
Yes, hello, really lovely to be back as always. You didn't fancy a pun this week, Welchy?
I spent
Yes.
so long this evening thinking of one, thinking of the different character names. Could I get frag in there? I was like, that doesn't work. Yeah, I kind of ran out of steam, and then I thought, you know what? I'll put that in there. Run out of steam.
No, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I tried, and then just thought, you know what? Half of the time they're not very good anyway. Let's just do a normal
Trying to
intro.
think of what's the opposite to Invincible that you can have a play on.
Vulnerable.
But
I guess I could have said, or is it vulnerable?
no,
Doesn't work.
no, it's clever, but it's not really the comedic moments that we're going for on this podcast. But no, I'm very excited to talk about Invincible Season 4, though.
Yes, so today the main purpose of this episode is to talk about Invincible Season 4. It is now finished. We have all finished it. And yeah, we're all excited to talk about it. Obviously, we've got the game coming out this week. I feel like they've timed that perfectly. Like, we've all just finished it. We're all like,
Yeah,
oh,
they
we're
are.
Invincible. Oh, wait, here it is.
Yeah,
So that's
comes
going
out
to be
Wednesday, doesn't it?
Thursday.
Thursday. Hopefully,
Yeah,
fingers crossed,
Thursday.
I actually get on release day. Yeah, save that for like that game podcast.
Obviously, season 3 was a year ago. I assume season 5 will be a year away, early
Yeah.
next year, which will be either exciting if we enjoyed this season, or maybe we don't care about it. We'll find out. After we do the Invincible review, we will then have a quick fun segment where I've got a little game for us to play, and then after that we'll do what we've been watching, where we'll talk about movies as such. We won't be talking about Michael today. Andy and I have seen the Michael Jackson biopic. Stephen hasn't. We're going to review that next week's episode of the podcast. So if you haven't seen it, you've got time to watch it before we review it. But we will be talking about Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Stephen, have you watched that as well?
Yeah, me and Andy went to the same screen to watch it together.
Cool. So we're going to be reviewing that one. I haven't seen it, but Andy and Stephen will be. So stay tuned for that. But for now, Invincible Season 4 launched March 18th. Feels like a while ago now. Launched with 3 episodes. And then after that, it was weekly episodes. So
Yeah.
I don't want to do like a breakdown by like episode by episode breakdown. We haven't got all day to do this. What I kind of want to do is just do a review. We're just going to go wherever we want to go with it. Overall thoughts, what episodes were your favorites, what episodes maybe you didn't like, maybe you didn't like any of them. I don't know. I've got a feeling. I got a feeling we will at least somewhat aligned. And I think at the end we'll maybe go into some like small predictions, thoughts on where we're going into season 5 and stuff like that. So I guess overall thoughts first. What do we think of the overall season? Andy, does this live up to? Because we've all kind of agreed that season 3 is the best so far.
Yeah.
Does season 4 top it, match it, not quite make it? What do you think?
I think anyone that has any negative things to say about Invincible, like, what the fuck you do with your lives? This, like, Invincible has to be one of the best TV shows ever, and probably the only TV show that I've watched where for the first 4 seasons it just gets better and better and better and better. And you're sitting there after watching season 3 thinking, how can they top that? How can they beat that? And with the first couple of episodes, maybe they don't with season 4, but as it goes on and you get more to the story, you get to see more frag, it just changes. And obviously I think it is episode 6 in particular. I can't remember, I'm not going to remember the order of all the episodes, but the one where you obviously get to see Frag at his full potential. I don't want to ruin anything just yet. So
Yeah, I was going to say we should probably just pause here
yeah,
for a moment. I think people that are here listening to the Invincible season 4 review have probably watched it. If you
Yeah.
haven't, just beware that we are going to spoil things. Maybe in these overall first thoughts, don't as much. So that gives people a
yeah,
chance. Maybe after, yeah, overall thoughts, just give an overall top level. Then we'll say right now we're going
Yeah.
into spoilers. So just a warning. But I assume most people here have seen it anyway.
yeah. So from that episode onwards, I'm like, well, even the episode
It's the one
before,
before
obviously you've
that.
got the
The one
whole
before that
the
where
Filtron War, yeah, the battle.
the Mark meets
And Mark,
someone we know
yeah,
have seen before.
yeah, that's episode 6.
That's episode 5. No.
Oh,
Episode 5, yeah,
no, it is
yeah,
episode 5. Yeah, sorry, episode 5 is
Yes, it's
that
5. Yeah.
episode, and then 6, 7, and 8 we get what Andy's just alluded to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. So it's just brilliant. Like honestly, I'm watching this and I'm speechless, and it's just one of the best TV shows that there is, and I'm definitely hyped for season 5. I don't know where it's going to go. I haven't looked into anything purposely, so I haven't even thought about which direction it might go. Obviously, we know the way it ends, that we'll go into that more. But yeah, no, the animation I think is still sick. I heard people complaining about that online. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like some of the scenes in this show are freaking crazy,
Yeah.
especially when they
complained
have
about it.
yeah,
So if you compare this to some animations, it probably doesn't look quite as good. Like, for example, and this is a very, very different budget, Across the Spider-Verse. Like, that is an animation, and that
Yeah,
is leagues above the style of this show. But if we want to have this show every year, we cannot
yeah,
complain about these kind of things. It
exactly.
is more than enough, in my opinion,
Yeah,
anyway.
definitely.
I don't have an
In
issue
my
with it
opinion.
either.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. Like you say, we're getting this yearly. Like I don't want to wait 4 years for the next season just for them to improve the animation. I think what we're getting is good enough, especially with some of the battle and fight scenes that we're getting in the sort of war. So yeah, I don't have any complaints on that end. And yeah, overall, obviously just loved watching every single second of it. Mark's development keeps going strong. All the other characters we get them sort of teaming up together to obviously fight the Filtremite, the character deaths that we get, the character growths. I think Atomi's character, her sort of storyline, where that's going, it's cool to see them show that in the animation, which a lot of other TV shows probably wouldn't touch, change characters, their appearance at least. So yeah, it's good to get all of that in there, and I'm just buzzing. Like I just want to get into all the details about Frag basically and start talking about how amazing his introduction is, and then what he does and how it ends. Because yeah, I'm hyped with all of that. It's almost every episode for me is 10 out of 10. Like I know I felt like the first couple did start off slow, but even the episode with I can't remember his name now. The one
Satan,
where
the
he goes to
Satan
hell.
episode, yeah.
Yeah, even that episode I thought was really well done. I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
The
I love
fact
that
that
episode.
yeah, the fact that he's going to hell and obviously fighting his own demons, sort of thing. Again, it's all character growth, and all these episodes, I see people moaning about them being fillers and stuff, and it's like, what the hell are you on about? That's such a cool episode. And it adds so much to the overall story and Mark's character and all the other bits that are going on. So yeah, I have zero complaints. I loved every minute of it, and yeah, hyped to season 5. I just want to start talking about spoilers.
So I'm assuming you would give this a 10 out of 10 of a season.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
And
think
better than season 3?
yeah, probably yeah.
There we go. Stephen.
Well, they're both 10 out of 10, but yeah.
I know what you mean. Do you concur with Andy, or are you slightly less than Andy? Where do you fall on this?
So I am pretty much on the same page as Andy in terms of my thoughts on season 4. That there is one thing, but even it's funny that Invincible is such a bit of a show that even something that I wouldn't say is a critique, it's more of something that I observed in this season that wasn't there in previous seasons. But then the last episode basically did a middle finger up to me because I then loved the direction and basically be skirting along. I want to start with this because the rest of it I've got no other complaints. Like, firstly, this is a step up from season 3. I can't believe they've quite done this. I do think that it started off the first the first 3 episodes were sort of, okay, this is kind of what you expect at this point. I would say like probably like 9.5 out of 10 is the first 3 episodes. You get to season 4, you get to the hell bit, and then every episode after that is just jaw dropping. It's just unbelievable, particularly the end sequence of episode. In fact, the whole episode of episode 5 is probably my favorite ever episode of Invincible, and I've said that in when we spoke about season 3, 2, and 1. But that for me, that episode starts, and by the time it finishes, I can't believe where they're going with this. Episode 6 and 7 I thought were amazing, and then the finale I find so amazing, but in a very different way, because I was very, very surprised with that last episode. And I kind of thought there might be people that would be really annoyed with that, but I actually thought it was absolutely brilliant.
So
However,
it has got I will say, significantly lower rating than the 3 before it.
yeah,
So 5 got a 9.8. This is IMDb.
Yeah.
6 got a 9.2. 7 got a 9.9.
wow, yeah,
Wow.
so it
And
was an
8,
incredible
the
episode.
final episode, got 8.9.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
it is
that's
a drop
still
off.
really high.
It's still, oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
because that one's not so much action packed, is it? But
You can't,
it's more.
that 9.9 in that
it-
last episode, you cannot do that again.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna top that. Yeah. But yeah, the way they do that last episode is really well done, and that sets
Yeah.
up season 5.
Absolutely. My only sort of thing, as we were going through the series, one thing that Invincible always does incredibly well is you feel the brutality when people get killed. And we've had big character deaths in previous seasons. And what makes Invincible kind of on the edge of your seat is that you feel sort of at any point your favorite characters have that jeopardy that is there. And I just felt that this season, on a number of occasions, sort of took us to the point where we generally thought a character was going to die. And then they're safe. Like the first time, happy. Second time, okay. But I feel like once we got to episode 7, when those moments hit, there's one in particular where when they get saved, I'm like, but that is kind of the opposite. Even though I wouldn't want that character to die, I felt like it would have hit more because of the fact that you're thinking, okay, well, if they just get into a major fight and they're at the edge of death, because they're a Viltrumite, they can basically survive anything. And I don't want Invincible to get to that. And that's not a critique, because it didn't take away from the show, but I did start to get to that point where I was like, well, I'm not going to get too emotional about this because you're probably going to be okay. And the previous seasons didn't do that. I always felt in seasons 1 to 3, I was always really terrified. It's kind of playing like we spoke about before on the podcast, where you've got like essentially like a character that cannot die. It's really hard for the audience to then get worried about them, because you just think, oh, they fall off a bridge or they get shot or get stabbed or whatever it may be, they're just going to come back. So the jeopardy comes from the people that aren't sort of invincible, pardon the pun in that sense. The only reason that I then am not as harsh on that is that the last episode, then the way that it basically got me like 5 times in that fucking episode. I got to the end of the episode, I was like, okay, I actually really like that. But my gripe was more, I think maybe in episode 7 where I that was a little bit like, really, come on. And I don't know if that's me being a little bit harsh. It sounds like, Andy, it didn't bother you, but I'll be interested to see, Welchy, if that was something that you can understand, or if it it was a bit of a niggle. Having said that, the rest of the season is absolutely jaw-dropping. It is absolutely incredible, and it is in my top 3 best TV series that I've ever seen, and it's pushing.
And that's not about even done. Like, we're still
we're not
2, 3,
even
4 seasons
halfway
away.
there.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, I've always said like American Horror Story and like Torchwood is like the one for me because of the amazing seasons, and that show I hold in such high esteem. Invincible is like pushing Torchwood off number 1, which I never ever thought I would ever be in a position that a TV show would be getting me to this point, particularly as like this wouldn't be the usual type of show that I probably would watch. But it's just so incredible. I can't wait to see what they do with season 5. We got a lot of the moments that we spoke about, those big moments, those reunion moments. I think particularly episode 5, when we had a reunion moment that then led on to an incredible battle. That just was 50 minutes that I just couldn't believe. Sort of, I had I was a little bit later in watching them than you guys, so everyone was saying, "Oh, get to episode 5, you won't believe what happens." And you do sit there, you think, "Oh, I bet
Can't
people
be
are just
that
going a bit over the top."
good.
I watched episode 4, I was like, "Oh, that was really interesting." Like that was an odd episode, but I really enjoyed what they were trying to do when he goes down to hell. Episode 5 starts, and I'm like, "Oh, okay," and then it was just one sort of crazy moment, then the other. So barring sort of the sort of couple of issues in the series where I feel like they were playing a bit too much on getting to the edge of death and then surviving. Outside of that, I thought it was an incredible series and definitely the best series so far. Which you compare it to the other ones, is just showing that this is a 10 out of 10 series, one of the best TV series out there.
It depends what they've done in the comics though, because I feel like if no one in the comics has died at this stage and stuck to source material,
I imagine the
if
exact
someone,
same thing happened. Like what we saw in episode
yeah,
7 happened in. I imagine. I don't know, but
yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen, like, I obviously get those TikToks pop up now. So I've started liking Invincible stuff, and I haven't seen anyone moaning about the comparison in terms of the TV show and the comics.
yeah, no.
So I'm guessing they've stuck
Probably.
pretty much. Obviously, there might be things they've missed out or more
Yeah.
different things in the show which they can't always put in the comic books. But in terms of like character deaths, I haven't seen anyone moaning about them. Oh, why didn't you kill this person off? It's in the comics. So I feel
Yeah.
like you're playing it too safe just because the characters are fan favorite and
Yeah. And I want to be clear, that's not the issue. It's not like when we speak about Stranger Things, where I said when we spoke like a character death probably would have improved that season. That isn't my gripe. My gripe isn't that they kill someone off. It's the fact that they're playing with that idea that they can keep getting away with making you think somebody's in trouble. And it's like, once it's fine, I felt like they kind of overused that a couple of times. But then in the last episode, they did it in such a interesting way that it then made me like start to get annoyed that I was annoyed at them for doing that in earlier episodes. So it was even when they have something that annoys you, you still love it. That's how good this TV show is. Did you also notice, Welchy? I think it's maybe in episode 3. There's a character called the Walking Dread.
Yes, I
Did
did.
you pick?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is Robert Kirkman basically just
Yeah.
throwing in a little bit of his Walking Dead. And I was like, that can't be accidental or
Oh no,
coincidence.
I imagine it's in the comic as well. It's
That
like a little
has to
nod.
fucking be there.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, that's. And I think even Invincible says that. So I was like, because obviously it's Steven Yeun who was in The Walking Dead, I bet when he's in the recording booth, did you just probably just start laughing? Because it's like you have those subtle Easter eggs. I was like, that is just not subtle in any shape or form.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that point, Stephen. I think they need to be careful with it. I'm
Yeah.
in the same boat where I'm glad certain characters are alive, and
Yeah.
it didn't ruin the season for me. I just do think they have to be careful because
Yeah.
it's in my head 3 times it happened in one season.
I think 4.
And
Before we even got to the finale, there was 4 different instances with the characters.
finale doesn't count because they're hallucinations in my
Yeah,
mind.
no. What I mean is that before that
Yeah.
there was 4 occasions I counted. So you had what? And
I
small
can't think of
spoiler
the
for anyone.
4. I can think of 3.
Happens
Yeah.
twice with Oliver, once with Invincible, and once with Omni-Man. In those
Twice
episodes.
with Oliver. Oh,
Yeah, well,
okay. Yeah.
he gets kind of hurt in third, but then the second time is where it really gets bad.
Yeah.
But he still, when that first time you're thinking, I was like, oh my god, Oliver's dead, and then
Yeah.
the second time it's even worse. Obviously, once with Invincible and
Yes.
once with Omni-Man. So they did it 4 times, and that was in the space of 3 episodes as well.
Yeah.
In their defense though, those are all Viltrumite characters.
Yes.
They're the ones that are harder to
Still
kill.
though,
So
I get that.
I still think they have to be careful with it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they have killed Viltrumites, so they are
yeah,
killable.
they have.
Yeah. So I just think they need to be careful with it, and I think they're I'm okay with it at the moment, but I agree.
Yeah.
Another one of those, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
I think they'll kill them at the right moment though, because if you go back to The Walking Dead, that he's not scared to kill off characters. Like
No.
you look at
no.
look at Glenn's character killed by Negan,
And
like
he,
two big characters killed off
interestingly,
him.
have you? It's an old show. I can spoil that show. He actually has a death in that season, but then comes back. He didn't actually die.
Yeah.
Glenn.
Glenn, yeah, he's like under that lorry
Yeah, with
and
the
all the
zombies.
zombies come, and you're like, oh my god, he's gone.
Yeah.
And then he comes back later on, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, let's not start doing this Walking Dead, and then he actually dies. You're like, oh shit.
And
Yeah.
I'm the same with you. Like I don't. It wasn't a problem. I get that they're Vilch bites are hard to kill, but then don't overuse the same notion.
Agreed.
But the other defense is that if we're halfway through like an 8-9 season, then like I get it. Then
Yeah.
you're not going to kill off the big guns if we're not even
Well,
halfway through the actual story.
And they did
But
kill
they've
off
just
a
got to
big
be
character. They did kill off one big
they've got
one.
to be mindful of it.
the other problem that they have is like if you take The Walking Dead as an example, when they did kill off Glenn, he was a fan favorite. Apparently, his viewership went down like crazy. Are they
Yes.
scared
Well,
that if
it's
they
still
do
based on the
something
comic
similar?
though. Like, I imagine they're
Yeah,
following
they
the
still got the
comic,
source material and stuff. Yeah,
but I don't think.
I don't think.
Go on.
No, all I was going to say, I don't think it's a case of them being scared either, because as I said, it's loosely based. It is not loosely. It is based on their comic book as well. But we've had it in previous seasons where that jeopardy has been felt. I know it's been more so for the non-Viltrumite people, and this season did still a great job, even when the hallucination moments of you feel that pain of people just getting ripped to shreds. But it's a fine line. It's like a tightrope that they're walking. I felt like they've had it perfectly in the first 3 seasons. This season just felt like if they had done another one of that, if we'd got to 5, I then would have started going,
Yeah.
all right, this is getting silly now.
I think it
But
doesn't help that it
they
was Viltrumites against Viltrumites, where, as in the
Yeah.
season 3 stuff, you had. Well, we can spoil season 3. If you're here and you're watching the review of season 4, you must watch season 3. When Rexplode dies,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
that's he's not human. Well, he's human. He's got powers. That felt like really sad. But then, arguably, he got shot in. I don't remember in season 2. He got shot in the head and survived.
Yeah, he did.
So
yeah.
it is. It's all, you know. It's a fucking anime cartoon, whatever you want to
It's
call
just
it.
it's a grey area that they've just got to not overuse. I hope next season we get maybe a little bit less of that.
Yeah, we'll get to next season in a bit because I'm interested in both your
Yeah.
thoughts. But overall, as a season, it is phenomenal.
Mm.
I can't believe they keep upping the stakes and just finding ways to make it even more incredible. The first 3, I kind of disagree because I thought the second episode was sensational. The second episode was where you had Alan and Omni-Man together.
Oh, that was the incredible episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got the
that was a
backstory.
brilliant
You got the
episode.
real backstory of the Viltrumites and what happened to them.
Oh,
and why,
yeah.
Yes.
And that ring
Yeah, yeah.
around the planet and what that
Yeah,
is. I was like,
that was a
this
10 out of 10 episode.
so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought that was late in the season. That was the one where they were basically Alan and his girlfriend were just
Yes,
completely
going
having
at it the
sex
whole time. Yeah.
while Only Man's on the sofa. Yeah, that was a fantastic episode.
So that was incredible. Then you've got 1, 3, and 4 are the weakest of the season,
Yeah,
but they're not bad, and they build up Mark going through what he's going through, which in the last episode he is not in a good place, and that's not just because what's happening with Viltrumites. It's been building up and up and up, and then he literally, I think episode 4 is almost like a metaphor as well, that he is in hell, like he has hit rock bottom.
Yeah,
and then he actually goes to rock bottom.
yeah. He's
so
been
I
struggling
think-
2 seasons now.
I think
Mark,
it's really well
in terms
done,
of-
but they
yeah.
need to. There's certain enemies I don't want to come back anymore. The Sequids, whatever they're called. I hope we're done with. I hope we're done
hopefully
with
they're
them.
Yeah. I think they did wipe them out, didn't they?
Yes, Robot threw one up and then killed it. So I'm hoping that was the last one. And then those aliens, I think they're called the Flaxons or whatever they're
The
called.
invaders.
They
Yeah.
keep invading. Obviously, Robot and Monster Girl have gone there to finish them off forever.
We don't
Yeah,
even.
but they're
Yeah,
stuck
and
there at the moment, aren't they?
we don't know how that's going to
Yeah.
play out next season.
We'll go
Yeah,
into that. But from the second half of the season, which is 5 onwards, I don't think there's been a 4-episode back-to-back run in any show ever like that, because
no.
and the last one is the calmest episode, but it's still fantastic, and I needed that to set up what's coming. 5, 6, and 7, it's like you couldn't look away, because if you look away for a second, you're gonna miss something important, and it's like
Yeah. What I think the final episode did so brilliantly well is that you started to feel that dread and that anxiety that Mark is feeling. The way that it's done, because again, what is so clever, and I don't know if this was intentional or not. Maybe it was just a stroke of genius that was done accidentally, or if it was purposely. You see 5, 6, and 7, you think, right, this episode's going to be insane, the big one.
Yeah.
We're going to get this huge mighty battle. There's going to be massive fatalities. like huge consequences, and it's going to top what we see in episode 7. And then you get about halfway through, you're thinking, okay, I'm
It's not going to
waiting,
happen. Yeah.
and it just keeps playing with you, and because you keep thinking at any single moment, and then when Mark has his big competition, which we'll get onto, there's also probably thinking, is this real?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay,
This
all
is
right,
real.
we are. And then it kind of a little bit felt feel a bit like a finale. It kind of felt like a penultimate episode before like the next one, but in a good
I
way.
mean, yeah.
That it leaves with sort of, if there was another episode, that would be great. But it kind of, where like season 1, 2, and 3 had like a definitive end. This feels to me like this is like the first part of like a wider story arc,
I think that's
which
the
I don't
big
think Invincible
difference
has
here.
done.
No,
Yeah,
because
I don't know if you agree with that.
yeah,
Where it
1,000,000%.
it's more like a cliffhanger.
Season 1 had the Omni-Man Mark fight, which is unforgettable.
Yeah.
Season 2 had the fight with Angstrom Levy and Mark, which is
Yeah.
the worst of the 3 finales before.
Still
It's still
a good finale,
great,
though.
still great. And then season 3, Conquest. So that's a famous episode. So for this one to not do that was like, oh, that's interesting, but it's still very well done, and actually arguably scarier, the ending as well.
Yes.
I really want to get onto spoilers, so I'll just sum up my thoughts. But I just think if this show somehow continues this, I said it before, I said Stranger Things could have overtaken Breaking Bad. It didn't. I think Invincible will. I struggle to see how it won't at this rate, because unless it somehow drops the ball, it's going to do it. Because as much as I love Breaking Bad, I don't think I ever had the feelings I had in those 4 episodes at the end of this season like that. Like,
And
it's
and
just
as
got to
much
stick
as
the
I-
landing, and I think it will.
Yeah, and as much as I like absolutely love because again, sorry, Stranger Things is another one. I feel like because season 5 was a bit of a disappointment, that kind of clouds how amazing that show is generally, which it is. But I just feel like at the moment, Invincible is above because it's 4 consistent seasons, and you could argue that some people might say that they enjoy like the characters of Stranger Things more than Invincible. But if you're talking about an incredible TV series that is hitting every single note, Invincible for me is already ahead of Stranger Things. Whether it will go even higher than that, and that's the highest compliment I can give it. The fact that Stranger Things as a whole is an incredible piece of television, but this has gone to another level, which I didn't even know that level existed.
And I want to piggyback off Andy's comment about being I'm guessing it happens in the comics, but being brave and doing what they've done with Eve is really good. I think I told you that I had it spoiled for me before the season that it's not a spoiler. I won't say it, but what she goes through happens. I didn't know it ended like that though. Like, I didn't know that happened, if that makes sense. What happened in the last episode.
I know
so when that happened, I was like, oh fuck, that is deep as shit. Like, I can't believe it going that way. So I think it's great, and I just think in those 3 episodes I'll talk about, those sort of amazing ones, you kind of lost that earth touch to it, where it's like how what's going on affects different people. All of a sudden it was just about this all-out war. But then they brought it back so well, and then you saw how Mark was dealing with it, thinking about what is going to happen when Frag gets there, blah blah. And I just think it's sensational. But we need to go into spoilers and main points we want to talk about, and future episodes and seasons. So I'd give it a 10, and it's giving it a 10. Stephen, 10.
Yeah,
there you go. I will quickly read out Big Z's review, which is short, which is interesting for Big Z, because it's not normally. He actually said that as well. He said, that ending with eyes emoji. He said, I think this season was incredible and definitely my favorite season so far, and I can't wait for the next season. Keeping it nice and short, as I think you lot will have plenty to talk about already. So thank you, Jesse. But I agree. Well, we've all agreed it is the best one so far, and we all can't wait to see where it goes. Okay, spoiler warning. From now, spoilers are on the table for anything Invincible other than the comics, because we've not read them. Anything from season 1 to season 4 will be spoiled from this point onwards.
I think it's also just worth noting as well that when we look back to our prediction video, we got every single prediction wrong in terms of character deaths. We spent ages. Yes. I listened back to that earlier, and I was like, they got us, because we were so convinced that a big character death was happening
I
this
think,
season.
if I'm right, I think I said that Mark or Alan would die. Not Mark, sorry, not
Yeah.
Mark, not Mark. Omni Man or Alan. I
Well,
said one of those
I
two. I think I
I was
leaned
gonna say,
towards Omni Man.
I
you got
was
close
going
to
down yeah, I was close to Debbie. So in that last episode, I literally when Frag drops down, and because I think that's the first one you get. So at that point, I didn't
Well,
know it was a
the very
hallucination.
first one you get is when the episode opens, and they
Oh, with all
all
the
Yeah,
drop
people.
down, and I was thinking,
yeah.
oh my god, we're just going straight into this. Like we're not even gonna
Yeah,
like
that's what I
slowly
thought.
Yeah.
go in.
Yeah.
And I was like
So
hyped, and then they took it away from me. I was like, oh man, am I
Yeah.
disappointed or am I not at
yeah,
this point? I don't know.
but
I was
I
confused at first when Mark got there, and I was like,
Yeah,
where are they at? Like a different part of like the
yeah.
world, the
yeah.
country, or
I
like
saw a
are they just like that part?
I
But
saw a comment online saying that Mark did a circle of Chicago and then just assumed they weren't in the whole planet.
yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Could have been fucking
I was
anywhere.
thinking like, yeah, I was like, I maybe put the wrong part of like of the world. But yeah, no, it was good, really good how they done that. Also, before I forget, was this the first time that we heard Mark swear? Because when he said like fucking at one point when he's talking to Eve and they're going through that deep conversation, he swears,
Mm.
and I'm like, I've not heard any other swear words in this TV show, which is surprising, or
No, yes, in
at least
swear
No,
words in
from
they,
this
they
show.
do they do swear.
oh,
Yeah, they do swear in the show.
at least from him, the way that he normally talks, it
Maybe
felt
not
out of
Mark.
place. Not like in a bad way. Obviously, the conversation they were having
He
pretty
must
warranted
have like
it,
had
but
a swear word in some of the big battles in previous seasons, surely.
I don't know. If for me, it felt like it was the first time that he'd swore. So I was like,
It's
oh
interesting
shit.
because sometimes Invincible goes from like where you'll have episodes where there'll be a lot of swearing to then episodes where no swearing happens. I can't recall if Mark has sworn before,
Yeah,
but you're right.
I've tried googling it, and obviously it hasn't really come up with anything.
Kind of
I don't know if it's
have to
just
go
the way
back
he
and rewatch
delivers it and
but
the situation he's in. Like when
yeah,
it's in a
maybe.
fight,
Yeah,
you might not be like even thinking about it, but that was very
yeah.
quiet, like
I feel
emotional
like
moment.
surely he's sworn at like Cecil, last season when they were having
Cecil, yeah.
their versus battle, like surely he has.
Is anyone fuming that he didn't confront Cecil about conquest?
Yeah.
I was
He,
like,
A
or
little
maybe,
bit.
come the fuck on. I really wanted, like, all the memes were
or maybe he
happening.
didn't know. Yeah.
Well, Cecil doesn't
Like
know. No,
obviously,
I know Cecil doesn't know, but Mark's going to do this debrief, and it's going to say in there, "Oh, and Conquest almost killed me." But is Mark not going to say to Cecil, you told me Conquest was gone. Like, what the fuck has happened here?"
yeah, true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's got bigger problems to
I
fight
know
at
he's
the
got bigger.
moment,
I get that. It's
but
just if I'm as soon there's all the memes online saying that as soon as Mark gets to Earth, he's gonna have to sit down with Cecil saying, "Guess who I met in fucking space?" And I was just
yeah,
waiting for
good
that
point.
moment.
It's a good
Like
point to be fair.
Cecil to just shit himself like, ah shit. Like
Yeah,
it
I
Yeah.
just didn't happen.
I also just go back to the moment. So like when Brad comes down and basically just destroys Debbie's head, I
Mm.
literally shouted out loud and went, "I told you my prediction was right." And then obviously it baited me, and I went, "You fuck!" And then they did it again with who was it else after that they did it with? I
Cecil.
can't remember the
I
next.
think,
That was it.
yeah.
And then it happened to go Cecil, and I shit you not, because my sister came and said, "You're right." And I just went, because I literally went, "Oh, fuck's sake, you baited me again." And she's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, Vince, we've baited me like 3 times." I
I
also love
knew
good.
I knew all of those ones were fake. It was when it got to Atom Eve, I was like, don't tell me this is going to be the real
And
one now, because I
I
expected it.
think the Atom Eve one went on a bit longer as well.
Longer, yes.
Yeah,
They're fucking
I was
playing with your
like, no,
mind.
this. Yeah, I was like, I knew all the other ones were fake when they're doing it. I was like, well, there's going to be one that they chuck in, and it's going to be real, and it's going to hit. And I was like, is this it now? Like with her, and I was like, please don't be her. And then
About
obviously
that
it's
one as
not. I'm like,
well.
okay, thank fuck.
The way they did that well is because obviously in episode 5, I think she's about to tell him I'm pregnant,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
oh no, it's
and
the end
then
of
it
season. It's the end of
happens.
season 4, and then episode 4, sorry. And she looks up, and Omni
She
Man
decides
and
not to.
Alan are there, so she doesn't say
Yeah,
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
she's about to say it again,
yeah,
and I was thinking,
yeah,
oh
and
my
then
god,
that
he's never
happens.
gonna
Yeah,
know. Like he's just never
yeah,
gonna know.
The only thing that kind of stopped me is because of the fact that we had the near-death experience with Eve at the end of last season. At that point, I'm like, when it happened, I was like, surely they're not going to do it again. But then you're right, it carries on for a little bit longer. I was like, no, you can't. Like, if this
Yeah.
is the actual real one, no way. I also loved when Cecil went and met up with Omni Man. And he was like, "You don't have
Mm.
to be scared of me." And he was like, "I'll always be scared of you." I'm like, "Yes, Cecil, you're absolutely shit yourself." He looked like, when you're about to approach like somebody who's like 5 times your size,
Yeah.
and you're like, "No, you're all right." And I love that sort of interaction between
I
him
just
and
remembered
Omni-Man.
remembered a bit of you saying that because I was like, doesn't Cecil like start shitting himself after Omni Man goes? But it's when he's talking to is it Art, the
The
costume guy?
costume guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's like having a proper like normal conversation with him, and he's like acting all cool and normal. As soon as he flies off, he's like
Fucking
breathing
hell,
heavily,
yeah.
like, oh thank
Yeah,
God I'm alive right now. That was funny.
Yeah, I was obviously going to what we moaned about earlier. They baited us with Mark Nolan dying,
yeah,
and
Yes.
I think I said to you both offline that I'm convinced he's going to die because obviously we
yes,
predicted
you
it. I
did.
predicted it, but then a few weeks ago I said, look, they've built him up this season. Like he's being nice to everyone. He had that moment of
Yeah,
heart.
I'm
He's had
not
the
for
moment of
Yeah, yeah,
Debbie. They're gonna kill him off now to like really gut punch us. And when it happened, I was like, oh my god, they fucking done it! Like they killed off the fucking best character. And then when he was alive, I was like,
yeah,
oh, that's an interesting choice to like bait it like that.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
happy. I am happy, but as we said, it needs to be careful.
Just be
Um,
careful of that. But yeah,
we
very
need to.
happy that you're still
We haven't
here.
really spoke about Frag yet. Like Frag,
no,
Oh,
he
do you know what's
is
funny?
unstoppable.
I thought there's not going to be someone that's going to be bigger than Conquest in terms of what we've seen from him. And it's like, compared to Frag, Conquest is like, hold my beer. Like,
yeah,
seriously, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Conquest is a little ant compared to Frag. And you are kind of watching it. And I was thinking, I don't know how they're going to do it. If Frag goes to Earth, they're done.
yeah.
Like, he's absolutely unstoppable. They had 3 Viltrumites fighting him in episode 7. And he just stands still and just brushes it off like it's a twig that's fallen on him.
But
And I'm like thinking, it's crazy.
the first sign was when Conquest goes back to him and is like bowing to him, saying, "I've let you down. You need to kill me." It's like if Conquest is this terrified of someone,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
there's something wrong here. Like this guy's a big guy, and then
yeah,
but then there was the episode 6 where they go to the what do they call them? The planets, kind of
The council.
Council of the Planets, whatever it's called. That place. They
Yeah.
have the fight
yeah,
there,
yeah.
and Freg isn't really doing much. He's just upstairs. He's at the back, and then they just run away. I was thinking, like, I saw a lot of people calling him a fraud online. I was like, yeah, but
No, he's just waiting.
there's just got to be something I'm missing. Like he doesn't see, and his voice wasn't as scary at that
Yeah,
time. And then
I think they done it on purpose, didn't they?
episode 7 comes, you're
Yeah,
like,
Yes.
oh, okay, no, I get it. Yeah,
yeah. As soon as
Yeah.
he's like, I think the first thing he does is just take a step back, doesn't he? Like, I can't
from
remember who goes to
Yeah,
attack
he
him.
does.
it's from the oh no, the gun misses him. He doesn't even move. Like he doesn't even flinch.
Yeah,
What's the guy racer called?
the alien race guy. I
Yeah,
can't remember his name,
the
but I know who
gun
you
which
mean.
puts holes through planets.
Yeah,
It's that
yeah,
powerful.
Yeah.
He doesn't even flinch. It just goes past him. Now I saw there's a theory that you can't hear that in space. Like you can't hear the shot.
yeah,
So they're saying that he didn't know it was there. I was like, I don't know. Like I feel like he was aware of his surroundings. But
yeah.
there's people online saying, oh, if he would have just like aimed properly, it's like, come on, it's a comic. They're not going to kill Frag like that. Like grow up.
Yeah,
No.
just killed off.
But no, it's when Mark comes flying at him, swings, and he just like
Yeah,
does a 2 centimeter step back.
Yeah.
that that moment is like he doesn't even do anything crazy, but like that step back just showed you just how much authority
Yeah.
Fred has and how like powerful he's going to be.
And how
And then
calm.
obviously from that moment onwards,
Some of the best
yeah, and calm,
enemies
yeah,
are the ones where I always said this, and it happened in Arrow of all shows, where there's a enemy or a villain where you feel and you think in watching it, there's no way to do this. Like there is
Like
no
Deathstroke,
Yeah.
way.
about.
Yeah, I'm talking about Deathstroke. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought you were.
there's just no way to beat this guy, and I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever felt it more than I felt in this one because there's that moment where
yeah,
Mark punches him, and you
It-
see that skull come up, like this red skull kind
Yeah.
of,
yeah.
and he doesn't even flinch and like doesn't even move.
It's when
a
he
muscle.
punches Omni Man up and he
but
goes through
but
all that
he
shit,
brought the
and then he
wind,
goes
like the
to
wind,
body.
kind of like a
Yeah,
tornado from his punch.
If I think about like amazing TV series that have got unbeatable villains, you can kind of argue maybe Vector at parts in Stranger Things where you're looking at this guy, particularly
Yeah.
season 4, going, I don't know how they're going to stop him.
Yeah.
And a TV show has got to really draw you in where you don't start thinking, oh, this is ridiculous. At no point do you look at Frag and you think, oh, this is ridiculous or this shouldn't be working. Like, he's unbeatable, but for very good reasons, and it's really believable as well. And even now, I'm like, I just don't know how they're gonna overcome this scenario.
Yeah.
Like, you've got an impossible enemy, and you've now created an impossible situation by the way that it's ended. It's absolutely just nuts
And
in
yeah,
terms of
and
how this could go.
they've made things worse for themselves as well. That's the thing that I've got from this episode is that with Frag and the way that he's been speaking, he almost doesn't sound unreasonable with like what he's been talking about. Like I know obviously the filter might have done terrible shit, but in terms of like what he's been talking about and what they've gone through their species, like it's no like there's no wonder the way that he is the way that he
Yeah.
is. But to then have all that calmness about him as well, when all these people have gone through everything they've gone through, it's like it's incredible.
Cecil made a really great point when he made a sentence where I was like, that is absolutely true. They won the battle, but they've not won the war in any shape or form
No.
because the mistake they've made by destroying Viltrumite, that was an incredible moment as well, when that just beaked of just ripping it apart. You've now put in a situation where the Viltrumites have now got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
They've got absolutely nothing to lose. So it's either let them breathe and stop the Viltrumites, which ends in everybody dying, just not now, much later down the line, or they can wipe out the entire universe
now
in a click. So it's either destruction and death now, or just slightly down the page, unless you kill Frag, which that in itself seems impossible right now. So I do think it leaves the season ends with you going, like, it's a lose-lose situation. It's like a nuclear sort of situation they've got. They've deterred it slightly, but then you've got Mark's now going to have to tell sort of Omni-Man that he's agreed to this deal, and then obviously you've got the situation that Alan is presented with at the very end, so you've now got these two sort of strands that simultaneously are going to come together. And I'm saying I can't wait for Omni-Man's reaction to when Mark has to tell him what that deal has been struck. Now they could go and fight, but he's made it very clear: anyone tries to hurt him in any shape or form, the universe will get wiped out. So and I think that's great. I think it is, and it's different to previous seasons where you have a bit of hope that things are going to get better. For me, things are just going to get worse. This is just sort of the tip of the iceberg. This is like pressing the button. The nuke is going to come later down the line. But I think that's great. That's a great way to end the season.
The only thing I want to say about this, though, is what happens in season 5. Because after having so many, insane episodes, where do they go with what this... Obviously, it must be good. Like, everyone loves the comics. No one... I've never heard anyone say, oh, it's good up until this point, and then it just drops off. Like, it's going to continue. But how? Like, when's Fred coming back? What happens? Does something happen with one of the Viltrumites on the planet? Does Mark kill one of them and it brings Frag back? Or do one of the Viltrumites betray Frag somehow? Do they become like Omni-Man and think, you know what, I quite like it here. Why do we listen to Frag? Do they end up... Is it Frag versus everyone? I don't know. Obviously, like you say, the Alan thing. And how do you beat Frag, first of all? I was talking to my brother, and I think that virus is going to come into play. That's the only way to weaken him.
Yeah.
Or somehow they make Mark much, 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 much stronger. Like Frag,
or maybe
Frag, as far as I'm aware, Frag wasn't born like that. He was trained like that.
Raised.
Yeah. So there's a way
maybe
to get there.
Him. Maybe it's more of a, can we subdue you? Like for like bury him underground or something. Obviously not. I know in terms of the show, it'd have to be something a lot more extreme than burying him underground. But do they like freeze him and he's not actually dead? Like, they create something? Maybe it's something to do with robot thinking of an idea where they can at least hold him down.
I have a question. That gun that Alan gets shown at the end of the season. So if Frag got shot with that, would that kill him?
Yes.
He's saying that would.
So it's a more advanced version of the Scourge virus that killed 50 billion or whatever it was people before.
So Alan would then be, for me, this is how I think potentially the season's going to go. That Alan is presented with a choice because he's now leader of the council. They made it clear that that gun should be used to wipe out all Viltrumites, including
Mark and
Omni-Man,
Odin.
Mark, and Oliver.
Yeah.
So Alan either decides, does he follow that because that solves everyone's problems, but obviously kills those three characters, or does he use that to take down Frag? That to me would only seem the most logical, but then it doesn't then answer the question of how does Omni-Man react to Mark? Has Frag got an insurance in case? Has he prepared for that? Of if they rise up? That to me, that gun seems significant, but how that's going to work, I feel it just presents Alan with a choice, which I know would be nonsensical to even think that he would go and sort of take down all the Viltrumites. But it's a world that I can see that happening.
But it's also technically the right thing to do because
it is.
Even though Mark is a good guy and he clearly is, what's to stop him having a baby with Eve this time, and this baby finding out about the Viltrumites and thinking, I'm better than everyone else. Why don't I become the next Frag? You know, like it's not going to stop until they're actually all gone. So either Mark just refuses to breed and just let him live, but you have to get rid of them all to stop it happening again. Now there's nothing to stop another. I don't know, like the battle beasts, those guys just taking over the world. Like there's always going to be the strongest race or whatever you want to call breed or whatever. So, but the Viltrumites are particularly bad. So it gives Alan a massive dilemma. But if I'm wrong, I don't think he's going to kill Mark. I just can't see him doing
that. Unless like the council take over, and if it gets into the hands of say like Battle Beast, who has already made that
but Battle
decision
Beast
clear.
just likes fighting. He doesn't actually.
You know that
he'd see that as an easy way out.
But you know that scene when the council where Alan is struggling to keep a hold of all of them, and all of them are kind of thinking we need to get rid of all the Viltrumites. Like Alan is the lone voice here. So whether it be rise up that the council goes into disarray, because I'm assuming that Alan knows it, but I don't think the other members of the council know about that gun.
No, it's just him and was Thaddeus or whatever his name was, Thaddeus.
But if for some reason like Battle Beast and the other members of the council found that out, and Alan was saying, well, I'm not taking out Mark and Omni-Man, could there be a situation where he gets deposed and there's like a civil war, which you think about how bad this situation could be if you've got all of them going against each other. Because part of the reason they won the battle was because they all teamed together, which I thought was great. They did win the battle with the Viltrumites because of the amount of powers they had, particularly with Mark, Oliver, and Omni-Man. Do you guys think Omni-Man and Debbie will
1,000,000%
get together?
Yeah. 1,000,000%.
As soon as she said, we've ended things, I was like, and you're now going up to space with Nolan. I was like, oh, okay, I know where this is going.
I only see that being one way, and maybe they have. Well, I don't know how old she is, but maybe they have a baby. Who knows?
That'd be quick before the Viltrumites get wiped out. Time's ticking, chats.
Obviously, could talk about what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, but are there any other major things you want to talk about? What did happen on this season?
I think Eve. I love that character progression. I think you touched it brilliantly earlier, Andy, when you talked about the fact that not only is her physical appearance changed, which I actually didn't clog until only when I was starting to think back after the episode when Mark and Eve. You're thinking, she looks really different.
Didn't clock it straight away.
Well, no,
straight away she looks different.
Well, I sort of did, but I was more focused on the emotion that Mark was having, and it was only after where I was like, because it's not. You could say it's obvious, but the way that it's done, that scene centers more on Mark than Eve. Obviously, Eve is there to support and talk, but it's only when you go back to visit it, like there's so much pain.
As soon as I saw her face, as soon as you see Eve's face, you can tell straight away.
I can get it.
I thought straight away, like, what's happened to Eve? Like, why is her appearance changed? But obviously, then you find out why.
I think what that scene does really well is it's got two people's pain, but obviously Eve is so nice that she's there to support Mark. And Mark, I thought they were actually going to break up in that bedroom sequence. I think Mark was thinking to himself, I can't do this to you anymore. But Eve obviously then said, no, we'll stick together. We'll continue. I actually think that's going to cause a problem in season 5. I would be surprised if they're still together at the end of next season. whether something happens, maybe like
yeah,
Eve
well,
gets killed, or
I don't
but
see them breaking up. I think it will be either she dies or because he said like I'll have to go away again, or she even made a joke like maybe I'll go away next time. Like I don't see them
mm,
breaking up over their responsibilities,
it
and
Yeah,
depends on
I
her
I agree
think
with
reaction
you.
to
what his decision
yeah, because you don't know how people are going to take to that.
that
If Eve can't see the way of
I think she'll be
how
okay with that. I think Cecil's gonna be fucking livid.
yeah,
You might not
Cecil
even tell him.
already. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't tell C. I'd leave that. What do you think though? Like Nolan will say though when he finds out.
I think at the end of the day he has to make a decision, and even if he said no, it's going to take Only Man like days to get back from wherever he was, or at least a
True.
long time. By
Yeah.
the time he's back, it's done. So I think even though it was a decision to be made, I don't think there really was because it was basically him versus all the Viltrumites, including Frag.
Yeah.
Because Eve is like, even though her powers are back, she's out of action essentially. Robot's
Yeah.
not even there. Monster Girl's not even there. Not that I don't even know if Mark knows that at this point. Oliver's not even there. Like it is literally Mark and
But
what
yeah, holding the fort.
Immortal who gets beaten by anything. Um,
Yeah.
we didn't see him once this season, did we?
No, I
No,
don't
we
think
didn't
so.
see.
Or
No.
we didn't see Duplicate as well,
Duplicate,
did we?
no, yeah. I wonder if
Yeah.
they come back. Obviously, we've got to find out what happens with Robot. I have heard
Yeah.
and seen things
Yes.
online that suggest that storyline's actually a lot better than we think. Because at the moment, I don't really care for
Okay.
Robot, but apparently that storyline's pretty good. So I'm actually interested in
I
what
Okay.
happens there.
by the end of the season, I kind of forgot that they were
Well,
still
exactly, yeah,
sort
yeah.
of out of the way, and then I was like, oh yeah, we still don't know what happens. What happens with them? Um, I actually was quite surprised going back to Eve that she got rid of the baby, like when she tells the Mark that she had the abortion. I don't know if you guys thought that that was the case. We should have powers back, but I thought there's different stages when a woman's going through pregnancy. But obviously she didn't have the bump, so I was like thinking, where's
Yeah.
I couldn't you couldn't see the bump, but I didn't know she actually made that decision to terminate the
It
pregnancy.
didn't surprise
Don't forget,
me because,
it jumped forward as well, though, didn't it?
yeah,
So
obviously he's been away
you
for
would
a
have
long
It
known.
jumped,
Yeah.
time, but
yeah, yeah,
she didn't know he's coming back. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
no,
That's
I
why
get it.
she made that
Yeah,
So
decision. Yeah.
she doesn't want to live. Sounds bad, but she didn't want to go through everything she was about to go through on her own. Um, which would also be a reminder of Mark, who she loves, blah, blah, blah. She was losing her power,
yeah.
so she had that side of her thing, the mental thing. Her dad probably wasn't very happy, he's a fucking dick. So
He's never a happy chap, is he?
she had an impossible situation, didn't know if Mark was coming home. Obviously, he does. But if he can go off again and get killed anyway, like it's a
Mm.
we would never know what that's
Yeah.
like because we don't have
I think it's
powers.
a,
But
I think that's what this season's also done really well. It is a sort of great sort of notion for people that are struggling. Like it plays on the idea of mental health, of body image, of feeling that you can't do things because you're limited to, and it's like these hidden deep messages. We spoke about it in like video games and other like TV series and movies. I love it when it's not absolutely shoved in your face. It's subtle, but it's got really hidden meanings and depth. It brought so much more emotion to that sequence for both of them.
yeah,
And I like that. We didn't get that as much in previous seasons. It's always kind of been there sitting in the background, but I thought this season really pushed that further. But it's because of the stakes of when Mark comes back.
I'm actually a little bit worried that season 5 is going to get a negative reception because I think it's going to be a lot calmer than this season was. I think it's almost
It
going to
has to
be
be
like
really.
the stepping stone to like a massive season in season 6 because obviously
Yeah.
Frag's gone. They're not going to show us those Viltrumites where they are straight away. If he does go
No,
looking for them, eventually that will happen. But obviously, you've got the robot story to happen. You've got the robot head guy, machine
Yeah.
head. Sorry, that whole thing. We saw that for like half an episode. That's got to come back.
yeah,
Um, obviously, probably more stuff with Adam Eve. We will see it. What happens with Alan the alien, and we'll see what happens with Oliver, Omni Man, Debbie. But I think it's going to be more small storylines, things going on. That dinosaur thing that happened in episode 1, is he going to come back?
yeah,
I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
things we might see, and I don't think we're going to get these big Viltrumite War episode
Yeah.
until season 6, in my opinion. I could be fucking wrong. And I just think people are going to go into that season thinking, oh, where are those highs again? And I think, I hope that's not the case, but people will start to, hopefully not, but fall off the show. I'm so interested because to do a season this good and with episodes that insane, to then have a season slowing it right down could be difficult. Unless we're wrong. I feel like if we could ask Jack, because he's read the comics, saying like, just don't tell us what happens.
Yeah.
But does it keep this pace? Because, man, I just worry
One
that people are going
prediction.
to start to think, come on, like where, like people were getting
The,
that Hell episode, the lowest rated Invincible episode of all time, because people were just
Yeah, that's
like, come on,
mental.
just give me the Viltrumites, like, and it's like sometimes you have to take these moments to step back and build the
yeah,
story up,
before
build the
you,
characters up, blah blah. That's got to carry on, by the way. Satan said something in that episode, something like,
yes,
"Now I'm back to myself. I can come back and blah blah, come back to Earth or something." So that's going to happen. I just
the
think
other
some people are going to
good
get annoyed about that.
I think the other good thing though that the series does really well is that we've been waiting for like 2 years for the reunion between Debbie and Omni Man, and I felt that that scene was everything I wanted and
Hmm.
probably a bit more. So like, if we don't see the Viltrumite still season 6, I think people need to understand like you might have to wait, but the wait will be worth it.
Hmm.
So I think that's fine. The other thing that could happen is we could get a brand new enemy, someone that we don't even know yet that
And also,
decides to
yeah, I mean,
come and cause
Angstrom
problems.
Levy's somewhere,
Yeah,
but they just have to be careful if you. And I saw people moaning about this, like repeating enemies all the time, like the Sequids and
Yeah,
like
can't do it
Flaxens.
too much.
But then I saw a very good comment from someone saying a lot of the things that people that like Marvel complain about is that they get rid of such good enemies so quickly.
Yeah.
So, for example, for God of Thunder, whatever it's called, Love and Thunder, we had Christian
Yes.
Bale as, I can't remember that enemy's name right now off the top of my head, but he was so cool, and as an actor, he did so well in that role,
that's the only good thing about that shit
and he's
film.
gone like that. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, and then you don't have him again. Obviously, with this multiverse stuff, that could happen, blah blah. But in general, you get these one-off villains. They're great. Some of them return, like Loki. Obviously, is in Avengers 1, and he's technically still in it. Thanos was over 2 films, whatever. But a lot of them are one and dones, and people complain. And now there's people complaining that the Sequids keep coming and the Flaxens keep coming. It's like there has to be a
Middle
balance,
ground.
and by
Mm.
returning enemies, you can build stories with them. And like the Flaxens have got stronger and they've learnt things and blah blah. Sequids, I don't really think there's much of a story there, but there's the ways of doing it. And if they bring back Angstrom Levy, obviously the second time he came back, he brought all those Invincibles with him from the multiverse.
Yeah,
What's he
true.
going to do next time? Like, there's good ways of doing it, but if he's going to be the big bad of next season, are people going to go, really? Like, we've just had Frag and now you're going back to Angstrom Levy?
Yeah, but the issue is there's not going to be anyone bigger than
No
Frag in
one's going to be
terms
like
of
Frag, no.
No.
yeah. So it's like, what is the next best thing to keep people happy? I'm going to agree with you, Welch. I think the next season is going to be like just loads of other plot lines and
Yeah,
story building and character growth again. But I don't think I'll be disappointed. I trust them in terms of what
yeah.
they're going to do.
I
I don't think
they'll
I'd be
have
disappointed by it.
they'll have a surprise up their sleeve, and also I think you make a really interesting point about the enemies. Like, it's a bit sort of like with Conquest. It was amazing to see Conquest back. I couldn't believe that he came back. And obviously, when Jeffrey Dean Morgan's voice comes on, I'm like, oh, but I'm kind of glad that he's now dead.
Agreed.
Like, I felt like if they brought him back again, I'd be like,
They
seriously, now this
teased it,
is
didn't they?
three
They teased
times.
it at the end of one of the
Yeah,
episodes.
yeah,
Yeah, they did. I was like, oh, and also Frag's voice actor. I went on to Amazon Prime with cast. I don't recognize him for anything, but he, as a voice actor, is incredible. Like, his voice is so menacing. He can be chilled when he wants to be, and sort of when he then reunites with Mark, which you then find out that that's actually real. I was sitting there thinking, what's he going to say? I figured they're going to have a massive battle. Was he going to say, I'm coming for all of you? And then he just says, I'll do you a deal, Mark. And you're like, oh, okay, sure. I think it really surprised me. I can imagine some people out there not happy with that, but the more calm that episode was, the better it got. And I think that's what again, season 5 is going to be up to a point. I reckon the final episode of next season, if the whole season is calm and tying up all the strands ready for something big, the big battle, whatever they've got up their sleeve, will hit us at the end of season 5 going into 6, is what I think will happen.
I have seen, again, I don't know what happens with it, but the lady Viltrumite, I think her name's Anissa.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen a lot of people like making posts about her, like something's going to happen with her. And I think I know, because I've seen enough to be like, okay, I think I know what they're talking about here. If they do what they're saying is happening in the show, it's going to be fucking a line to be very careful to not cross, if that makes sense. I can't say it without spoiling things. I don't want to spoil it for you two. I won't even tell you off there because it's better to go in not knowing. But if she does what is suggested, it's like, how are they going to put that on telly, first of all? And what's going to be the consequences of that? And so I think there's ways that the Viltrumite stuff can still happen. And obviously, is it Lucan? Yeah. Lucan, the big one, who everyone says looks like Steve Harvey. I don't know if you've seen all the memes about that.
Yeah.
So many memes about that. I don't know. I just feel like there's still potential for them to have those big episodes with the Viltrumites. But personally, I feel like it's going to slow down. And I just hope that they do enough to keep... I think, like we've all said, we're going to be okay with that. But is the general audience, like you said, Andy, with The Walking Dead, people fell off The Walking Dead because it slowed down.
Yeah.
I fell off The Walking Dead, never finished it.
Or maybe it's season 5. It's Omni-Man trying to track down all the Viltrumite to try and get them on
not knowing that
their
they were
side. Well, no, obviously,
you mean on Earth?
They're on Earth. Yeah, so obviously Mark has a conversation with Omni-Man, and then Omni-Man tries to track them down one by one to try and get them to join his team to be like, look, this is what our planet's being like. Our planet's being destroyed. This is what our people are being through. Like, we've been through so much pain. Is it worth all this fight for what? Like, and then trying to get them to team up.
Maybe. I think we need to move on, but I think they are very loyal to Frag, so it's gonna be tough. But I think the whole with them living in Earth and just being normal for a while, do they get to like that? Do they meet someone like he met Debbie and start to think, you know what, I quite like this.
It's funny because we could spend literally probably like the next 5 podcasts talking about all things Invincible. There's so much. I feel like we haven't even scraped the surface, even though we spoke about it a lot. I think also just my last thing is that you always knew that the Viltrumites were horrible, but this season really showed that this as a clan of people are like the worst. You know, the idea that Frag, even though he's seen what's happened with Omni-Man, he still wants to say we're going to breed. We're going to rebuild our race, and then we're going to take over. Like, I was thinking, just when I think you can't get any worse, they continue to showcase how worse. And the whole backstory with the virus and everything, like, I thought there was great character growth with the Viltrumites generally this season that was pushed on.
I loved all the backstory on the Viltrum.
Yeah, and that episode too, you're right. I thought it would happen later down the line, but it didn't. That was an incredible episode. Really enjoyed that.
That shot where they're releasing them all out into space, all the dead bodies, and it shows it. I was like, wow, it's fucking sick. And then when they used it in episode 7 and just hiding between the bodies, I was like, what the fuck? This is so good. I saw that come in. I was like,
how could people be annoyed with that?
So good. But yeah, I think the whole Viltrum stuff was amazing. The obviously young Omni-Man, seeing him on his 18th birthday, his mum and dad just beat the shit out of him. Can you imagine? Oh, happy 18th, son. Bang.
I would recommend it to anyone listening, but it was helpful. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I just think it's phenomenal. It's going to be so interesting to keep this up. I think to just warn everyone, maybe I'm wrong, but I think to expect a dip and then back up for season 6 is my prediction.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I can see it. And sometimes you need that season to let it all calm down a bit, and then there's more jeopardy going into the season after. So
if there's a show though that will make you think that and then subvert your expectations, Invincible is the show to do it as well. So it's kind of we can all talk about it, but all bets are off because the season could go in a completely different direction. If someone has said to us season 4 will end with no major character deaths and a really chilled out season finale, you'd be like,
there was one.
I just have an idea.
Fadus was pretty major.
Yeah,
I know he's
yeah,
not the main ones, but and also for me, he is really the villain of this story. Like he
yes,
single-handedly killed billions and billions of Viltrumites.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like that's fucking bad. As bad as the
another thing
Viltrums
they
are.
could do. You
yeah.
mentioned earlier, Welchy, with season 2 where they get all the other Invincibles coming in. Is there a way for Mark to get in? I can't remember what happens to all of them, but is there a way for Mark to get in contact with them and they all team up against the
A lot of them
Viltrumite?
died, but I do think, and I saw someone comment this online as well, because there's a moment when I think it's episode 5 when they all go off, like they say their
Yeah,
goodbyes and go, and Cecil makes a comment saying, "This is the first time in however many years, 30 years,
Yes.
there's been no Viltrums on planet Earth." And
yeah.
someone said, "I'm pretty sure he kept some of them down in his little basement thing where they're experimenting on them." So you technically might have,
Okay.
and then Cecil, you know that guy who's making the
Yeah, yeah,
robots and stuff, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there might be one or two down there. But then him
Okay.
saying that would suggest it isn't, because
Yeah.
otherwise, because obviously Conquest had gone, he knew that.
Mhm.
Mark,
Yeah.
Oliver, and Nolan, as far as we know, they're the only ones there. But if he has kept some Invincibles behind,
Yeah.
Mm,
unless he
okay.
does Angstrom Levy become a member of the team, I doubt it. But do
Mm.
they use him to get those Invincibles, or do they find another fucking frag and hope that one of them's good?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Hopefully, one's
maybe.
good.
We also need more Donald as well for season 5. I want
He
more
was good in
Donald.
that last episode where he was figuring out what button to press. He just nah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Smash it.
One last
When in
question:
doubt.
Did either of you think so? The moment where Frag has got Omni Man down on Viltrum and he's talking to him, saying like, "We can do this together," blah blah. Did any of you think, "Here we go. They've baited us
Yeah,
with Omni
No.
Man. He's been good, good, good. Is he
I
going to
did.
do that
I did.
switch?" I did as well.
Yeah.
Really? No, I didn't think he changed mind. He's had such a great character over the last like
Yeah.
2 seasons, not just this
Yeah.
season, last season on the
But
path to redemption.
he might have been thinking like if I join Frag, I can save everyone.
Yeah.
Like I can stop
Well,
people from
not
dying.
everyone, but he can save Mark
But
and Oliver.
yeah, he can save who he
Mm.
wants to.
I just felt that it would have felt a bit out of place for me if he had changed at that point. I
don't
didn't
know. I
personally
could have
think that
seen
would
it.
I can
happen.
still
I
see
could have
it
seen it.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still
Interesting.
think something might happen with Omni now, where he does something bad, maybe for the right reasons, but
He's trying
something
to be
bad.
good. He's trying, but
Mm.
sometimes
So
you're
If
just
you,
there's that
you
blatantly
switch
bad.
though,
you think there's
yeah,
something still in there? Interesting. I haven't felt that. I was kind of leaning more towards the fact of you're going to make me fall in love with him even more to then just rip out my heart and kill him, and then that doesn't happen.
And they almost did.
Maybe. I hope not. I hope not. I hope he stays on a good straight and narrow. He's doing well at the moment.
Okay, well, that was Invincible. We spoke for over an hour on that. We could have spoke for at least 2 more hours, I think, but we do need to move
Absolutely.
on. Very excited for season 5. We'll obviously be talking about the Invincible game next week on the gaming podcast, and I'm sure we'll be doing prediction episodes about Invincible season 5 later down the line, reaction videos to the new trailers whenever that happens. For now, we're going to take a very, very quick break, and when we come back, we've got a little game to play, and then we're going to be talking Lee Cronin's The Mummy. So be right back. Welcome back to the Late Night Movie Podcast. We just spent over an hour reviewing Invincible Season 4. We're now going to go into a very quick game before we go into what we've been watching. I have named this. I haven't named it. We've done it before. It's a top 10 list.
okay.
I'm going to
Guess the
read.
list.
Yeah, you got to guess the list. I'm going to read out
Okay,
the
let's
entrance, the picks, whatever you want to call them, the top 10
Entries?
from 10 to 1. You both
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
guess on each entry
Yeah.
to see if you can guess what this top 10 list is.
These are
This is
so
the-
random.
We
Yeah.
did this on like the game podcast, and I swear there was one where like Andy got it ridiculously. Like he said something which I thought was really stupid. It turned out to be the right one.
Yes,
I can't remember what
not
list that
honourable.
was specifically.
Yeah.
I got it on the mountain one, like mounts, and then you got it, Welchy, on a one that I done for our
That was
quiz
right.
that we done all
I
together.
was the one who got it. Yeah. Yes, you got the horse one.
Yeah.
Yes, on the
Yeah.
gaming side. And I think it was the gaming side again where I got when I did it, because obviously that was the 100th episode.
Yeah, I can't remember what the top 10 list was
Was
now.
it
but yeah.
plane? So it's to do with planes, I think. or
I
Fly.
don't
Anyway, it
think
doesn't matter.
so.
Yeah, I
But
can't
I've not
remember.
got one of these before, and I just know that sometimes if the prediction sounds stupid and then you get the point, I'm like, how have you got it from that?
Yeah. Well, we didn't get it on the movie one last time. Neither of us.
No, we
It was
didn't.
like
Yes,
the
you're
one where
right.
villains die or
Yeah,
It was when you
villains
had like
are the winners,
Sin,
something like
Sin City and Shrek in the same list. I'm like, how the fuck does that connect with each
that.
other?
well, I've got another top 10 list. Let's see if you can predict or work out what list I am talking about.
Okay.
Okay, so in number 10, we have The Book of Eli.
Okay.
Obviously, very tough now because you don't know what else is in the list, but you can still make a prediction.
I'm not going to go for the obvious one. Films based on religion.
Incorrect.
I mean, do you have to guess, or can
Don't
I
have
just?
to. No, don't have to. We can just wait for another
Yeah,
one.
give me
Yeah.
another one. It could be literally anything with just
Yeah.
that movie title.
So number 9 is Troy. Any guesses?
Yeah. Top 10 movies based on historical events.
Incorrect.
I didn't think it would
I
be.
like it though.
The Book of
The
Eli
next film
isn't
will
based
throw
on
that
a.
off completely.
The Book of Eli isn't based on like a
No,
historical
well,
event,
no,
though,
it
is it?
depends what you
It's
think
quite.
about it, Andy. It depends on your religion. If
Mm,
you're religious, it did happen.
Yeah, that's what I
true.
was thinking.
It hasn't like yeah. Sorry.
No, I know what you mean. I know
Um,
what you mean. Yeah.
10 films where they cross the sea. Top 10 films where they cross the sea or some shit.
Incorrect. Again, I like it. I like it, but it's incorrect. The next one will throw off both of those, I think. Number 8, Matrix Revolutions.
Yeah, see, this where it all starts to go downhill because I was thinking like
Okay.
desert.
I've got one. Top 10 movies produced by Warner Brothers.
Incorrect.
Only because Troy and what was the one you just said there?
Matrix
Matrix
Revolutions.
Revolutions. They're both Warner Brother movies.
Top 10 movies where they try to hide in something.
Incorrect. That's
Is this going to be like a list which is going to be really obvious when you tell us what it is?
I think so. Yeah.
They usually
Okay.
are.
Number 6? No, 7?
7.
I Am Legend.
3 of these got like, well, Book of Eli, I Am Legend, similar vibes. I don't know if this happens. Top 10 movies where their companion dies.
Incorrect.
I
That could be so far. I don't know, but I don't think it happens to the rest.
don't know about the Matrix,
Yeah.
but
Anything for Stephen?
Top 10 movies that were the second highest grossing movie at the box office for that year. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's very specific. It is incorrect.
Well, I knew it was going to be the highest grossing movie of the year, so I thought I'll go for the second highest grossing movie of the year.
Number 6, Braveheart.
what the fuck, man?
There is a connection.
There is a connection here. I know obviously that's obvious because that's what the game is. But Braveheart, Troy,
So
very similar.
this list came from, not that it won't help, but comicbookresources.com. Don't Google it.
Straight on the answer there. Oh man.
Any guesses?
What's the last film you just said?
Braveheart.
Braveheart. Top 10 films where there's a big battle.
Incorrect. Anything, Stephen?
I don't have anything at the moment.
Okay.
I feel like I need another one.
Well, I'll quickly read through the list so far for everyone playing along at home, but also for you too. Number 10, The Book of Eli. Then we had Troy, Matrix Revolutions, I Am Legend, and Braveheart. Let us know in the comments if and when you got it, if you did. Number 5, 300.
What the fuck? There's a theme here. But the Matrix. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the next film's gonna a move away from the theme you're thinking of as well.
Yeah. There's like a lot of films similar to each other in
So annoying,
the ones
most
that
of
you
these
said so far.
movies are Warner Brother produced. So at this point,
I hope it's not
if I had to say,
also
I was like,
like a second list here.
uh,
Um, top 10 films that involve Denzel Washington in some way.
Incorrect.
He's
where?
probably not
Hang
in
on,
like half of
you've
those.
seen 300, haven't you?
Yeah. I said in some way he might be like
Could
producer
have
or
been
director
producer,
or
yeah.
something.
True.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you that. I was like thinking, what the
He's not
fuck?
an I Am
Okay.
Legend either.
No. Top. I will go with top 10 movies
And he's probably only in the
that.
Book of Eli.
Yeah, it probably is. I'm running out of
uh,
guesses. Okay.
uh, top 10 movies with an expensive costume design.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Number 4 is John Wick Chapter 4.
What is this list, man?
Top 10 films where the main character is a killer slash assassin. Something along those
Incorrect.
lines.
Incorrect.
What, the Book of Eli?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's literally goes around killing people.
I've done it. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of a different movie, clearly. I don't even think I've seen the Book of Eli, actually. Top 10 movies where the main character narrates the film.
Incorrect. Number 3.
Where do I get this?
Oh, I think I've got a guess.
Number 3. No Time to Die.
I don't.
Being the
Top 10 films.
James Bond movie.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I can't remember what happens there. Top 10 films where the dog dies.
Incorrect.
I think I got it.
Go on then.
Top 10 movies where the main character dies at the end of the film.
That is correct, Stephen. Well done.
Yeah.
Andy, you were
finally.
so close when you said companion dies. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's
But
not right.
I don't remember Denzel Washington dying in the Book of Eli at the end.
You must do. I
Spoilers
didn't
for
make the
anyone
list.
that hasn't.
I didn't make the list.
'Cause, you
Yeah,
know,
this list actually spoiled James Bond for me because I did not know he died.
it was free. As I was thinking, I'm thinking, well, Braveheart, he gets killed at the end, he gets beheaded. 300
Yeah, I know he
Leonardo
dies.
dies. And then obviously when she said no time to die, I was like, oh yeah, James Bond dies as well.
So on the list, Andy, it says, and this is a spoiler for Book of Eli, which is an old film. In the climax of the film, in which Eli dies shortly after reciting the entirety of the Bible,
I don't remember him dying. I
paints a
remember him
truly
going to this
heroic
place.
image of the titular protagonist.
Maybe it does. I need to rewatch it. I remember him like taking the book to hand it over to these people, but
Yeah.
I don't remember him dying.
So there was going to be 2 more films to this list. That would have been Gladiator.
Yeah.
And probably the most obvious one, which if you didn't get it by this point, I don't know how you would have not got it. Logan.
Yeah.
So if you look through all these lists, all these people do die.
You said John Wick as well. John Wick doesn't die.
Apparently he does in Chapter 4.
Oh, so you're going off the last film?
I said John Wick Chapter 4. I said that.
Oh, did
You
you?
did say that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did say that.
If you listen.
Another spoiler then.
Yeah, I didn't know that in that either.
I got one of these ones right. I'm well happy.
Technically, I Am Legend, the official ending they're going with and continuing with in I Am Legend 2 is the extended edition, whatever you want to call it, bonus edition, where he doesn't die.
Yeah.
But in the theatrical release, he did die, so we'll
There's
allow
a number
it.
of movies there where the main character does die. So now that you've mentioned that's a
You can
pretty
see it now.
straightforward list.
Yeah. It's always the way. Well done, Stephen. Last time it was top 10 movies where the villain wins.
Yes.
And you both didn't quite get to that one. I thought you was going to not get it again there because he's getting quite close. But
let's get close, yeah.
Obviously did it in the end. Well done. Okay, let's move on to what we've been watching. Not much to say this week. I mean, I've been watching The Boys. Actually, I will give a quick update, Andy. I'm flying through it now. I'm halfway through season 3.
Oh, nice.
And it has really picked up in season 3. Like, season 3 is where I'm like, oh, this is good. Like, every episode is like bang, bang, bang. I'm like, here we go. Now I'm getting the hype a bit more. I don't want to spoil things for people, but temporary V's involved.
What? Sorry, what was that?
Temporary
Temporary thing.
temporary V.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Butcher and Hugh have been using
Oh,
it.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to that point then. There's like that's what I was worried about getting spoiled because you see like certain things like on TikTok and that.
Okay, yeah. I still haven't
I
had
didn't want
anything
you.
spoiled, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But
Also,
yeah,
how like the first episode of season, I think season
it
two and season
is
three,
season
they're always
3.
like,
First episode of season 3 is with the penis.
yeah, the
That's all you
small
need to
guy.
know.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know, Stephen. It is disgusting.
It's on my
Yeah.
list, but sure, that will be. I was about to say be excited to watch that, but that won't be. That just sounds odd. But
It's
I've
disgusting.
heard Andy has said to me before, every opening episode, every season just gets more and more completely and utterly off the rails.
I don't remember season
Yeah.
two's one, but this one was it's
That
a highlight.
yeah. Yeah.
The only other thing I've been watching or have watched is Michael, but we're going to review that next week. So I'll hand it over to you two. You've both, well, Andy's seen Michael. Stephen, you're watching it this week, but you've
Yeah.
both been to see Lee Cronin's The Mummy, which the trailer looks really good.
Yeah.
I've left the cinema whatever film I watching that, thinking that looks good. Obviously, I didn't like it enough to go watch it because I've not seen it. But what did you two think? I'm going to quickly get up some things here. So it hasn't done well critically. It has got a 46 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah, 46. Slightly better than Michael, which we'll get into next week.
Yeah.
Audience
We
score.
do we have to?
Audience score is 75.
Yeah.
So much better than the critics. I will quickly get up the Letterboxd, but while I do that, let's start with Stephen. Stephen, what did you think of Lee Cronin's The Mummy?
Yeah. So yeah, me and Andy both went to see it on. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday.
I can't remember.
Okay, whatever day it was.
Last week. This week.
Yeah, went to see it. And I was like you, Welchy. I was excited to see this. I was like, oh, this is a retelling of The Mummy, and I enjoyed the Mummy movies. It sounds really odd when you say it like that. I enjoyed those movies when they came out, and I always felt that someone maybe one day could do like a full-blooded horror sort of version of this kind of story, because one of those movies that was sort of scary but was playing very much like a more sort of family audience, teenagers, those ones. They do have a couple of creepy moments in there, I won't lie, but this is like completely different kettle of fish. I said to Andy after we came out, I was like, could you imagine if you've gone to see The Mummy, you hadn't seen the trailer, and you were just like, oh, this is a continuation, you sit down, you watch this movie, you will be completely dumbfounded into that this is nothing like the previous ones. It's Blumhouse, produced by James Wan, who gave us Saw, Insidious, Conjuring. So even though Lee Cronin wrote and directed the film, I read into it after James Wan had a massive involvement in the project as well. It's also produced by his production company as well.
How many films are there where the director and writer just puts their name at the fucking front of the movie?
Pretty a lot.
I just think it's,
as many as you.
I just think that's, I think that's
as many as you
annoying.
think.
Like it's almost cocky, like thinking, look, it's mine. Like,
I think they were trying.
It's me. Is he that good?
I think in this case it's so that you knew it was different to the other Mummy
Yeah,
franchise.
like what I was saying before, that it's a retelling of The Mummy, which is why I think he put his name.
Because there is another Mummy film in the works, isn't there? To like the Brendan Fraser Mummy. I think they are working on another one for that as well. So I think obviously to help that.
But I'm looking at his track record. There's nothing here to really rave about. Like it's not like if it was, I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
Yeah,
everyone's like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you fucked too right. You've earned your right to put your name there.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I think it's just to take away from the current Mummy franchise. Yeah. In terms of what I thought about it, I would say that it's one of those which is, for me, it's not brilliant, but it's not bad. It's kind of middle of the road for me. I really enjoyed the story. I thought the story was really sort of clever, and I was engaged by that. I mean, this movie, as somebody, I'm not sort of squeamish. I've seen loads of blood and gore over the years, but this movie is disgusting. And when I say disgusting, it's like it has moments that just make your skin sort of crawl. And sometimes that is justified. There is part of me, as we've come out the screening whilst I thought about it, I do think that did it get to a point where it kind of overused it? I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for you, Welch, because I think you should go into it not knowing, but just prepared. There are some moments, particularly towards its later stages, which are just like it's just disgusting. And I do sit there and think sometimes less can be a bit more. I don't know whether, because I don't think it was doing it for sort of shock value. It did kind of serve the story, but I felt like at times it was descending more into like the torture porn sort of what you get from like Saw and Hostel, even though it wasn't that, it
Yeah.
was going down that route. And I just think at times maybe it didn't need to keep showing those kind of bits and pieces as much as it does. I mean, the movie's 2 hours, 13 minutes. I never sat there and thought that it was too long, but you probably could argue to improve it slightly, maybe take off 20 minutes and kind of refine it slightly, even though I don't really have any particular scenes that, you know, if you watch sometimes a movie, you go, well, that could have been got rid of, that could have been got rid of. It didn't feel too long in that sense. I just felt that maybe they could have just refined it and maybe we didn't have to keep seeing those kind of issues. As it's not from a case of, you know, I think sometimes when horror goes down the blood and gore, it's great, but there were moments where it just felt a little bit unnecessary. I also think it's worse because it's children that are involved. So sort of, you know what you saw in like Bring Her Back? This is like on par with some of the more horrific moments in Bring Her Back, but I would say this is probably even worse at times. There's one moment that I do know that I'm talking about where I actually said out loud, "Oh no," and I think you know exactly what scene I'm talking about.
Probably the toenail.
The
That's what I'm gonna say.
toes, yeah, the toes. That scene just like makes my skin crawl, which is not a bad thing because you want a horror movie to do that, and I'll remember that scene for a long time. But like other movies, sort of like Evil Dead Rise, they do that,
That's
but
his
I
film,
feel
isn't
like
it?
Evil. Sorry.
That's Lee Cronin's film, isn't it? I think Evil Dead Rise.
Uh,
He does an Evil Dead film.
if that is his
Yeah,
film,
it is. Evil
then
Dead Rise is his film.
oh, so he did it a lot better in Evil Dead Rise for me than what he does in The Mummy. It just the possession sequences in Evil Dead, I think, are shot a little bit better. And it's not so much sort of on and on. I mean, there's a sequence in Evil Dead Rise where a woman gets basically part of her skin ripped off with a cheese grater, but yeah, which you know when
Doesn't
you
that happen
people say that, you're like,
in Weapons? It's a potato peeler, isn't it? In Weapons.
yeah, that's potato peeler. I just felt that there were at times where in the movie where it kind of just kept doing that, and I feel like right, we get it now. Let's move on into its third act. Also, there's also a moment which again I won't spoil anything, but sort of you've got this family who basically the setup is that their child goes missing, and then they discover that they're alive, but they've been in like a catacomb, and then they basically are told, "Oh, they're all right. Take them back home and look after them. That's the best place for them." Which is the worst thing you could possibly do because when they're going to the hospital to see said daughter, I literally I was like, "No, fuck that for a laugh. They can stay there. I'll come and visit you," because you can tell that something's not quite right. But they obviously have another child because that happened like 10 years ago. So at the start of the movie, you can see that she's pregnant. But like the other child starts to kind of get involved. And I did laugh that the parents don't really notice what's going on. And in fact, like there's a obvious moment that she's in trouble. And they're just like, oh no, we're just going to go upstairs and look after. I can't remember the girl's name. But I was like, so this is terrible parenting in this film, which did make me laugh. But yeah, all in all, it's sort of it wasn't the worst horror movie I've seen. I think it was decent. I don't think it should be as low from critics' perspective as it is. But 75 for an audience score, I think, is probably fair.
So is that the score you're landing with, like a 7.5, or where are you landing?
I'll go 7 out of 10.
7.
Yeah, I think 7 is fine. It doesn't get towards sort of the 8s, 9s, 10s.
You're
You
losing
know,
your
I'm
reputation here, Stephen. That's 2 sevens in a row. I have to call you Mr. Seven
I
next
know,
Oh,
time.
I know. I mean, Undertone's a vastly superior movie than this, which I know Andy's not going to agree with. But no, I mean, generally, I think Welchy, you'll enjoy it. I don't think it's going to pull up any trees. I don't think it's going to be in my top 10 movies of the year, but it was enjoyable. It was an
Yeah.
enjoyable horror movie, and I really enjoyed the story. I thought the story was really well done.
Andy. Well, before you go, actually, Andy, I will quickly say Letterboxd score of 2.8, which is just better than
Okay.
average. Um, budget of 22 million,
Okay.
and so far it has taken home 65.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Decent.
So
done well then.
I think they'd probably consider it a success at this point,
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
which is good. We always want movies to be successful, um, and obviously done a lot better than films like Return to Silent Hill, which is good news as well. Andy,
Definitely.
what do you
Yes.
think of this film?
So I mostly on the same page as Stephen. It was one of those films where for a film that's over 2 hours, I didn't know how long it was. It didn't drag for me. I was sort of hooked on the story from the get-go, sort of curious to see what's going to happen, how their Wyatt obviously knew their daughter had been missing for 8 years and what had happened to her, but sort of the effects of that and where that was going, wasn't quite sure on the full details of that until sort of towards the end part of the film. So I was sort of hooked on the story and sort of wanting to find out more in that sense. I do disagree with Stephen in terms of the like gory, gruesome, sort of sickening scenes that they showed. I don't actually think there was that many in the film, and probably would have liked them to add more to it. Just to, I felt like a lot of the film was a lot of story build up, which was fine. I was enjoying all of that, and then towards the end of the film, we started getting more of those moments where you actually start to see some of those sort of scenes where you sort of do almost shy away from the screen. But I don't feel like there was enough of them. I felt like they could have added a lot more of those scenes to the film just to make it a bit more gruesome, especially with it being a horror film. But yeah, I thought the performances was good. I particularly enjoyed the dad's performance and obviously I don't know the girl's name, but the girl that is the mummified version. I thought her performance as that character was good. There's some creepy moments where you don't see her and she's trying to convince the other children to sort of come into the room and play with her, or like let her. They've like locked her up at one point, and she's trying to convince them to come let her out. So you sort of hear her talking through the door, and the way in which they do that, considering she doesn't talk, is quite good. But yeah, no, it's one of those films where I wouldn't say go watch it at the cinema. It doesn't need to be watched in the cinema to get the full experience of it. I thought the ending was good. Yeah, overall it was an okay film. Like it's one of those films where I think I don't know what they could have changed to other than adding some more of the gruesome moments, which I know Stephen's saying less of those. I don't, yeah, so we're sort of going against
Mm.
each other on that one, where I think there could have been more of them.
I do get it. I think I'm just kind of comparing it to sort of other sort of possession-based horror movies that have gone down that route. I just felt that it got a little bit sloppy. I think the really great ones was where you see lots of that, but sometimes it's what you don't see gets you on the edge of your seat. So like there's a moment in Evil Dead where there's a sequence where one of the possessed children, she starts basically eating glass and she swallows it. You see the glass going down, but for about 20 seconds beforehand, she's got her back turned and you can hear the glass being crunched and chewed. So you don't actually see it, but you're like, oh shit, what's actually happening? And that
Yeah,
scene then comes even worse, where I feel like in this, they kind of threw it a lot out. And then by the end of it, I wasn't kind of disgusted and shocked because I was kind of desensitized. So I feel like maybe they could have done it in that sense. So that's where I go more because I'm not squeamish. I love horror. I love horror movies. The gorier, the better for me, really. I just felt that it felt a little bit at times a bit on the lazy side. But I can also see that if you're saying that you didn't find it a problem in the way that they executed that, then yeah, you probably would want more because there wasn't enough substance in that. So there could be because there wasn't enough of it, or it wasn't utilized as effectively, which is where probably me and Andy differ.
yeah. Obviously the scenes that stand out for me, and I obviously won't give too many details, but the toenail scene and what happens with that, and also the scorpion scene are the two
Oh
that
yeah.
sort of stick out to me. Whereas all the other sort of scenes, I don't feel were like screamish at all. So potentially what you said there, Stephen, adding for me, if they added a few more scenes where you see the effects of her being possessed by whatever it is, she's being possessed by this curse, whatever, then seeing that or hearing it on screen, I guess, would have added more to it, because it's like the same where she's using her voice to persuade the children to come and help her. You don't see her actually doing that. She's behind a door, so you just hear the
Yeah.
creepiness of the sound of that voice that you know doesn't belong to her, and you're thinking, who the fuck is
Yeah.
saying that
Yeah,
shit?
that's a good scene.
What they're trying to do. If they had more of that, I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But yeah,
agree.
overall, yeah. But overall, I like the story. I like the characters. There's not really much more to say about it, really. Yeah, if you're going to go to the cinema to watch a film, it wouldn't be my first choice to say go watch it. But it's sort of, yeah, it was a decent film.
I think
I agree with Stephen in terms of the critics score. I don't think it should be that low. I am more around the 7 out of 10 mark as well for it.
yeah.
7.
Yeah.
I think you need to update your Letterboxd then, Andy, because you didn't go that high on Letterboxd.
Did I not give it 3.5? Or did I
I
give it
thought
3?
you gave it 2.5. Hang
Did I?
on, yeah. You gave it two
Just
and a
been
half
exposed.
stars on Letterboxd.
Maybe I
Wow.
probably had time to think about it and change
What
my
did you
mind a bit.
say? What did you say? This
No, no
I
word
don't think I
review.
wrote anything
No.
down.
Oh, you just
Yeah.
So you're going with what, 7?
What?
Yeah, I'll go with 7.
7 being
I
good.
pretty had time to think. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it wasn't like crazy. It's not a 10 out of 10 film. It's not going to
No.
get in my top
No.
10 like Steven said. But I'd probably watch it if someone else hadn't seen it and they wanted to watch it. I'd probably watch it again
Yeah.
with them, sort of thing.
Yeah, I would just say. I think like we've had obviously loads of horror movies up to this point, and you've kind of got like the incredible ones like 28 years like the Bone Temple, Undertone, I know, and then you've got like things like The Mummy, and there must be another horror movie that we've seen. Primate, perfect example.
Yeah.
This fits kind of where Primate was for me, and then obviously you've got the really shit one like Return to Silent Hill. So you've probably got at this point 3 stages of horror movies in terms of categories, and this kind of sits in the middle for me. Whereas I think like Obsession and Passengers are gonna hopefully push all the way up because they look incredible, and Hokum as well, which we're seeing next week. I think those next 3. I mean, I've got high expectations going into those, where I had mixed expectations going into this.
Yeah.
So I wasn't majorly disappointed.
Okay. I mean, I'll try and watch it at some point this year. If it comes to streaming, I'm definitely not going to go to cinema to watch it. But it sounds decent. It sounds like it's not going to blow your socks off, but it's worth watching if you've got the time. And it wouldn't be it wouldn't be time wasted.
No, it just needed probably a bit of polishing and do things a little bit smarter. Generally, I think that would have then pushed it higher, and then it probably would have made those squeamish moments even packing more of a punch.
Yeah, I guess.
Which he has done in Evil Dead. So now, and I didn't know that he had done Evil Dead Rise until you said that.
That's because
so
you
now
put his
I'm
fucking
even
name on the front of it. The problem with putting his name on the front of the film is now, if it doesn't blow everyone's socks off, next time it's like Lee Cronin's, I don't know,
Yeah.
Madagascar. Everyone's like, well, your last film wasn't that good. Like,
Evil Dead Rise, I think for critics got like high 90s or
maybe
like
that's why he's done
88,
it.
89. So, and as I said, that was a perfect example of utilizing that possession base, and that now makes sense that he's taken the tools of what happened in Evil Dead and put them in this adaptation of The Mummy, which makes me now even more harsh. It's like, well, you've shown me already that you can do it in a smarter, more polished way. Why did we not get that in The Mummy? So, but yeah, 7 out of 10 is fine.
Well, there you have it. That is going to do it for this week's episode of the Late Night Movie Podcast. Let us know what you thought of Invincible Season 4. Do you agree with us 3, 10 out of 10 season, or do you think it's less? Like, you obviously can't think it's better than that. So let us know in the comments, or obviously let us know what you thought of Lee Cronin's The Mummy, if you've seen it. And you can also, if you want to get in early, let us know what you thought of Michael, because we're going to be reviewing that next week. So be sure to get your comments in, either on Discord or on YouTube, whatever, wherever you want to contact us. We'll read them out next week. As I said, you can join us on Discord using the link in the description, or you can comment or tag us on socials at the Late Night Pods. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to follow and subscribe wherever you are listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Speaking of which, as I just said, next time we are reviewing Michael. You will not want to miss it. I'm sure we're all going to have a lot to say about it. And I'm sure Stephen and Andy will also be reviewing Hokum in our What We've Been Watching section. Until then, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I have been your host, Welchy, joined as always by my co-hosts, Andy.
Yeah, thank you as always, guys. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to the next episode.
And Stephen.
Yeah, been a pleasure as always, and can't wait to talk about Michael when I see it this week.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.